Okay, today we are going to start you the functions in the Python. Okay, functions. These are the topics. So basic syntax is that we have the def keyword in here. Okay, in order to define the function, you should define or use the def keywords. Okay, so after that we need to give the function name, and also we need to give the open and closes parentheses. Okay, and after that we need to give the arguments to be processed in the what in this function. Okay, and so if we pass any arguments in here just like this one, and so we can use these arguments with the what with the suites. Okay, for example, if we want to define the new function, def few can be defined in here, and so we need to use the double dot in here to what, to end this process. Okay, and after that we can give the print. It's another function, and also we can give the what, the I am foo. Okay, so in the Python, from the difference between the another language, they are interpreted as statements. Okay, statements, which means that we can write the function as the R variable, another variable which is defined in the Python. But in C or C++ programming language, if we define the function, and so this function possesses what its own features, not the variable. But in Python, this is a variable, but it is only the address. Okay, just like the another classes. In the Python, the interpretation mechanisms can be built based on this property, and so we can easily assign the function with the what, with the integer values or the another things. But we will show it in the examples. Okay, and so the function example can be given by with the what, first of all the def foo, and also the print foo. Okay, this is a keyword, and so if we call it this foo function in here just like this one, and so if we run this code with the Python debugger, and then we will have the foo values here. Okay, so but just like the function overloading, which is given in the what is defined in the C++, we can overload this function, the foo, the print, other foo. There's no syntax error in here, but if we run this code, we have the other foo, and so this foo is defined in here, and after that if we define the new foo function in here, and so this override this function, and so this terminated, and also we only just used what, this foo function in here. Okay, this is the first example. x1, and so this is just like variable. Okay, in the second example we need to give the what, the another properties, the def foo, and so the print foo first. Okay, so print in the first place, the print type can be called or can be used in these properties because the foo can be given as a parameters in here, and so it's called the class function, right? And so the foo is an address, but which address or the possessed with what, with the which class possess these values, the class function possess these values. But just remember that the foo can be assigned to any variable because it's just an address, and so foo can be assigned with the 10, and so the print type foo can be called in here just like this one, and so in the second place we will have the what, the integer value. You cannot do this mechanism on the what, C or C++ programming language or the Java. Okay, Do you understand what I'm saying in here, Yara? Okay. And so in the third place, we need to call to the def foo. And so we know that it's only an address. Okay, foo. So bar can be created with the foo, and also bar can be called in here just like this one because it's an address, but it's type of what a class function. And so if we rerun this code, and then this foo is called by using this one because it's just an address. Foo is an address, and we can assign this address to the another one. Okay, so we can call the bar with the open and close parenthesis operator in here just like this one, and so we can do this. And then this is a huge advantage in the Python programming language, because just remember that we can define the foo in here, the print foo, and also def bar and print bar, and also def tar print tar. Okay, so just remember that we can define the list with any other address values of the variables, for example the integer, double, a list, but another one. And so if foo, bar and tar are the instance or the variables of the class of function, and so the a can be defined with the foo, bar and tar, right? This is a simple mechanism because it's only an address on the Python programming language. And so if we can do that, so for f in a can be given with with calling this function, right? And so if we rerun this code, just remember that foo, bar and tar is what is written on the terminal page because the foo, bar and tar are simply an address in here. Or just remember the previous lesson, we can define the dictionary values. 1 foo can be assigned in here, 2 bar, and also 3 and tar. Which parameters are the keys and which parameters are the values, Yara? Yes, and the foo, bar and tar are the values of this function, and so we can call by using the sharp parentheses in here just like this one. And so we can use the open and close parentheses or the function operator in here just like this one, right? And so if we rerun this code, and so the foo, bar, tar is what is written in the first place, and in the second place we can call it just like this one. See, this is a huge advantage to build your function types or the function storage mechanism in the Python programming language, guys. Okay. Any question? Yes, Efe. For search just remember the for loop. Efe. For loop creates the loops for a given data. A is the R general properties containing the whole values between this one. And so this F is assigned at each time foo, bar and tar. Okay. Do you understand right now? Okay. So this is the exceptional example, but if you want to learn the Python, and so we need to know everything about the syntax. And so in order to clarify the properties, and so I can build to I just need to build to this kind of examples because it represents the whole features of the function f. Right? Do you understand right now? Okay. And so how we can assign the parameter arguments. First of all, the def foo can be defined with the x parameter. And so if we define the function, and so this foo can be assigned with the one more variable in here. For example, x, y, z can be assigned in here. And also we can print the type of the x, just like this one. Okay, and so foo can be called with the with the 10. So the class int is seen on this page. But in C or C++ programming language wouldn't have this kind of property, because in the C or C++ we need to give the type of the arguments. But in the latest update we have the auto keywords in C++, and so we can add this mechanism. But in the Python, just see that foo can be called also to any.to, and so in this case we will get to the float value, or we can give the ali. See, we can pass any variable in here, just like this one, and so there's no syntax error. And then we need to control the type of the foo, type of the x value, because there is no syntax error in here. And so this causes to false interpretation or the false results on your code, guys. Okay, but this is also a huge advantage, because if we have the general function just like the type function, for example, and so we can pass any arguments to this function. But also if we want to only, for example, if you want to process the integer value, and so you need to check these values in here, because the Python does not produce to syntax error in here. This is a semantic error, and so we cannot easily catch the semantic error in here. Okay, just remember that. So in the 6th example we need to talk about the return values. What's the meaning of the return values? Just remember the C or C++ programming language. Def square can be built with with the a. Okay, and so we can return to the a times a in here, just like this one. And so the print square 5. If the 5 is passed to this function, and so the square gets the a value, which is assigned with the with integer values of the 5. And so this returns to the to the 25 values in here. Just see that 25. And so we can print also the type of this function, square 5. Okay, so just remember that this is the class int. What happens if I choose to these values? For example, comma. What's the type of these values in here just now? No, this is not a float, this is a tuple. Just remember the previous lesson we have talked about it. If we use the comma operator in here, and so we can turn into the into the tuple value. Just remember the previous lesson, Yara. Did you remember that? Okay. So what happens if I choose to this one? Mm, 5.0. If you run this code, which type of variables and the results are produced? 30 float. Okay, and so just see that we have one function in here and another function is given in here. And so see that in the first place we have the class int values in here, just like this one, but this is the integer value, but the a is assigned with with the 30.0, which is equals to the what, the float value. Okay, and so this returns to the what, the class float values in here. See, I can change the what to everything based on this property. But if I choose to use just like this one, this is the integer value. And so if I rerun this code, just remember that class int can be assigned in here. But what happened if I choose what, putting the comma value in here? Yara, what do you think about that? Yes, it's a tuple. See, this is simple. But we need to clarify the whole features just like this one. Okay, and so the another examples is given in here, x5 f6, and this is to what, also return values in here just like this one. And so for example, we want to define the main function just like the C++. And so the def main can be built with what? With this parameter. And so A can be taken with the conversion of the float value, the input A. Okay? And so the B, and also the C, the C. And so we want to define another function in here. The result is equals to what? The get roots is our function A, B, C. Just see that we can pass the 3 arguments in here just like this one. And so if result is equals to the none, which means that we don't have any properties or any root, and so we can write the no root in here. Okay, and else, and so x1 and x2 can be returned with the what, with the result value. After that, we need to print to the what, the x1, which is equals to what, these parameters, and x2, which is equals to the what, these parameters. Okay, and also we should give the format. Just remember the previous lesson, we can use the format with filling with the what, the x1 and x2 with this empty space. And so how should I define this function? We need to complete it, right? See, for example, if you want to analyze this code, x1 and x2 are 2 variables that returns to the what in the result variable, which means that we need to return the 2 parameters in here just like this one. And so this can be called or defined with the what, with the tuple values. In C or C++ programming, we cannot return the multiple values. In the Python, same condition is given in here, but the same condition is seen as the tuple variable. How can I define or explain these parameters? The def get roots value a, b, c should be given in here, and so the delta b times b minus 4ac. Okay, and so if delta is smaller than 0, this is the basic math condition, we should return to the none. Okay, and also if this is not the case, the x1 is assigned with the what, the minus b minus math.sqrt function. Oh, if we want to utilize the math function, we need to import the math function, math library, just like this one. Okay, and so the sqrt value, the delta. Okay, and after that we need to divide the 2 times a. Okay, and also x2, but in the mathematical condition we need to give the plus. And so in the return, what should I write at this case? Just write it to the chat. Yes, x1 comma x2. And so what is the type of this x1 and x2 value? Yes, x1 and x2 are tuples or contained in the tuple. In the C++ or the C, you cannot use these mechanisms, guys. Okay, you cannot return to what, the multiple value, but in the Python we can do that. But this is one variable actually, because it's a tuple, just like the list. Okay, you need to understand that. So this is how we can define what the multiple functions in the Python. Okay, and so in the example 7 we need to talk about the default arguments, guys. What is the meaning of the default arguments? For example, if we want to define the foo function, we can call the a, b, c, just like this one, and so we can print the what the a is equals to this one, and also b is equals to this one, and also c is equals to this one. Okay. So the foo can be called with the 1, 2, 3. Okay. And so just see that we have the 1, 2 and 3 are seen in the what in the terminal page. But what happened if I call this function just like this one, foo1? So if we run this code, and so we will have an error. Foo is equals to the 1. Type error. Foo missing two required positional arguments b and c. Which means that the compiler or the interpreter tells us to what? If you want to print the ABC, you need to give me 2 more parameters in here. Just like this one. And so, how we can do that? In the Python, just like in the C or C++ programming language, we can define the default arguments, guys, by using the equal operator in here, 100, and C, 200, for example, in this case. And so, if we write these two values, the interpreter check the foo parameters. And so, the first of all, the A does not have the default argument, but the B and C possess that. Okay, and so if we want to give the one parameter, the other ones are filled with the B and C default argument parameters. Or which means that if we run this code again, and so in the first place A is equals to 1, B 100, C 200. But in the second case, B and C are given also to the function, and so it's replaced with the 2 and 3. Okay, so any question? So if there's no question, and then we can override the function. The foo is equals to A can be assigned with the 50 default arguments, B 100, and the C. Okay, and so the print A is equals to A, or we can copy all of these things in here just like this one. Okay, and so if I run this code right now, so syntax error is seen on the termination. Non-default argument follows default arguments, which means that if we want to define the default arguments, this is a syntax error, but we should give the default arguments it must be at the left side. Okay, which means that if we use these values in here on the C, if we have any default argument at the left hand side, and so this C cannot be taken 0, or the not default arguments should be assigned in here, which means that if we want to define these whole arguments, and C must be also filled with the another default arguments. But at the right hand side we can do that. But if we push this function, just see that 150 should be given in here, but at the left hand side of the default arguments cannot be run on this system because the C does not have any default arguments in here. Or just see that we can also define to these values in here, A, B. So the same condition is given in here. Okay, any question? If there's no question, and then we will continue with the default argument parameters. Just remember the previous lesson we have talked about the branch function. This is a standard built-in function which is given in the Python, and so we can create the loops or the numbers or indices, which is used in the for loops or the another variables. But how we can write this function? For example, this branch is a function with the parameters of the 10, and then we want to build the 1 to 10 value must be written on the term page. These are the objective, and so def this branch should be given in here, just like this one. Just remember the branch function. Branch function possesses the 3 parameters, 3 arguments: start, stop, and the step point. And so the start should be given at any case, and so we cannot define the default argument in here, but the stop can be equals to the none, because at every case we may not require to define this parameter, and also step is initially or defaultly can be equalized to the 1. And so first of all we need to control these values. The stop is equals to the none, and then this stop value should be assigned to the start, because this stop is assigned to the to these 10 values in here. Okay, and so the start should be initialized with the 0, because if we pass to to 10, and so this 10 is assigned to the stop, and so start is equals to the 0, which means that this is 0, this is 10. If we pass the 1 argument in here, after that for I in range of start, stop, and step, we can use also range in here, just like this one. And so the print I and end empty space, and also we need to give the print function in here. See, 0 to 9 values are seen on this page. Okay, or I can do this one. I can specialize this function, for example yara. And so at every case we can add the yara. See, 0 yara, 1 yara, 2 yara, 3 yara, and blah blah 9 yara. See, or we can, so this should be removed in here, this range 2 to 8 can be given in here, which means that the start is assigned to 2, stop is assigned to the none. And if this is not the none, and so just directly run this code. And so if I run this code, and so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or this range is given in here, and so 3, 2, 3, 8, and no, 2 is a start, 8 is a stop, and 3 is a step. And so if we run this code, we will have the 2 and 5, but 9 can be assigned in here. 2, 5, 8 can be given just like this one, guys. Okay. Any question? Yes, Yara. Stop is equals to the none, because in this case, for example, in the first place, the compiler or the Python sees that code 10, none, and 1 yara, because automatically fills these positions, the arguments, with with the default arguments. Do I understand right now? In the second case, this range is possessed with the 2, 8, and the 1 automatically filled by using this syntax yara. No, if this is not the error, but we cannot control these values in here, because if the stop is none or the stop does not exist, and so we cannot control this parameter correctly, syntaxically. Just see that. 10, but see, look, this branch, one required position argument stop, because we don't require to pass the stop values in here, and so we need to assign to the some default arguments. Otherwise we cannot use this branch function with one parameter, Yara. Is that okay with you? This answer, did you get it right now? Okay, otherwise we will have the syntax error. So we will continue with the default arguments. 9. So first of all, the def few can be defined a, b, c is equals to 10, d is equals to 20, e is equals to 30, f is equals to the 40. Okay, and so the print a empty space, b empty space, c empty space, d empty space, e empty space, and f empty space. Okay, so with the format values of the a, b, c, d, e, f, and so we need to give that. So if we call the foo function 1, 2, 3, which result is seen on the terminal page? Just write it. No. Yes, Yara. Thank you. 1, 2, 3, 20, 30, and 40 are given in here. But if I choose to pass these arguments, just like this one, f is equals to the 100, we can directly assign to the specific values to the default arguments in here. If we want to use in this case we can build this 1 and 2 should be given in here, because we don't have any default arguments in here, but c is equals to 10, d 20, e 30. But if we want to update only the f parameter in here, and so we can use this f function in here, just like this one. Okay, so how we can do that? For example, if we want to assign the 100 in here, automatically interpreter assign this value to the c1. Just see that. Just see, in the second place we will have in the second place 1, 2, 10, 20, 30, 100. But in the second case, this is assigned with with the c value in here, 1, 2, c, and so f is not updated in here. Did you understand the difference between the keyword utilization in the default arguments right now? Okay, so what about this one? In the 10 we have two special keywords or the operators in the arguments with star and double star. For example, if you want to define the foo function a, and print a can be written in here, and also print foo can be called just like this one in here. So if you run this code, and then we will have error because the foo missing one required positional arguments. But at every case we don't need to define these parameters. If you want to define the empty space or the multiple parameters can be built with the one parameters, or we just use the star operator in here, just like this one. So if we run this code, and so we will have the no error in here, because the A is the none, but A can be assigned in here without using the default arguments. If we utilize this star parameter, and then we can call this function. But how we can do that? The print few 10 can be called, and so see, in this case, in the first place we have the empty space, but in the second place, just see that what's the type of this value? What's the type? Open parenthesis 10 comma, yes, it's a tuple, and so this defines its tuple, right? But how we can utilize this feature? If we print the foo with the what? With the 10 and 20. Normally, we should get the error, right? In this case, because we have the one parameter in here. But if we use the star operator at the left hand side of this parameter, and so if we run this code, 10 and 20 are given as a tuple, but we have two arguments in here, but two arguments are contained or collected into this A value. Do you understand right now the properties of this value? So if we use the star operator in here, and then we can collect the whole data into the one, but we can give the more parameters in here. Do you understand that? Okay. So now we need to continue with the my print function. But before that, we need to take a break, guys. Okay, and so at at 1:50 we will start it. Okay.